When did a small red flag turn into a full-blown disaster? 6 months ago, a family moved in right across the street from me. It was a couple and their son. The first week, I noticed something that made me uncomfortable. The first time I saw their son behind the wheel, I did a double take. He looked like a child. I'm talking baby-faced, barely tall enough to see over the dashboard. He was backing out of the driveway and he clipped their own mailbox. He overcorrected, jerked the wheel, and nearly ended up on their lawn. It looked like he had no idea what he was doing. I walked over to their house and introduced myself to the parents. I asked about their son driving and mentioned he looked a little young. The mom didn't even blink. She said he just turned 16 and got his license 2 months ago. The dad backed her up and said he passed on his first try. They both seemed so confident. I nodded, said okay, and went home. What else could I do? They told me it was legal. For a few weeks, things were quiet. The kid kept driving like a maniac, but I stayed out of it. Then came the night that changed everything. I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of engines revving outside my window. I looked out and saw 4 or 5 cars parked in the cul-de-sac, headlights on, music blasting. The neighbor's kid was in the middle of the street doing donuts. Tires squealing, smoke everywhere, a bunch of teenagers standing around filming it on their phones. I threw on a jacket and went outside. I told them they needed to leave before someone called the cops. The kid just stared at me. One of his friends laughed, but eventually, they left. The next morning, the dad was pounding on my front door. He got in my face and told me I had no right to tell his son what to do. He said I embarrassed his kid in front of his friends and that I needed to mind my own business. He told me to stay away from his family and walked off before I could respond. After that, I kept my distance. But a few weeks later, I saw the kid blow straight through a red light. No hesitation, no slowing down. A car coming from the other direction slammed on their brakes. A few days after that, I watched him roll through a stop sign and nearly clip a woman walking her dog. I went to the parents and told them their son was going to kill someone. The mom asked why I was following her son around, called me obsessive. The dad said if I didn't stop harassing their family, they'd call the police on me. I left and didn't say another word to them. Then last Saturday happened. I was on my evening run, a few streets deep into the neighborhood. I had stopped at a corner to catch my breath when I heard tires screeching. I looked up and saw headlights swerving down the street way too fast. It was the kid. I saw a woman crossing at the end of the block and he missed her by inches. She screamed and fell trying to get out of the way. I shouted at him to stop. He slammed on the brakes right in the middle of the street. For a second, we just looked at each other in the glow of his headlights. Then something in his face changed. He revved the engine and floored it straight at me. I dove onto someone's lawn and hit the ground hard. I heard the crash before I saw it. He lost control and slammed into a tree head on. The car wrapped around it. I ran over and he was slumped over the steering wheel, not moving. Blood everywhere. I thought he was dead. Someone must have called 911 because I heard sirens minutes later. Then I heard screaming. The parents came running down the street. The mom saw the car and collapsed. The dad ran straight at me. He grabbed me by my shirt and started screaming in my face. He said I did this. He said I killed his son. He kept saying it over and over. I killed his son. The paramedics had to pull him off me. The kid survived but was in critical condition. At the hospital, the police told me they found alcohol in his system. He was drunk. Then came the part that made my stomach drop. When they ran his information, there was no license on file. He was 15 years old. He never had a license. The parents lied to my face. The police took my statement that night. I told them everything. The car meets, the reckless driving, the warnings I gave, the threats the parents made. I handed over my Ring camera footage from the night of the donuts. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer. She said we had a case for attempted vehicular assault, reckless endangerment, and negligence. We filed immediately. 3 days later, the parents were served. The investigation revealed the parents were the ones who gave him the alcohol. They're both in jail now.